Hey there, little berries and newberries. How are we all? I thought I would do another reaction to a JCS because I'm getting to the point in my degree at the moment where I need to get a project on the way, and I should be able to get a couple more cases out before uni ends, but before the end of May, there may not be that much. So I thought I'd do something that's a bit quicker and not so time consuming to research and edit, which is a reaction to a case I had not heard of. I didn't put a poll up, but I put a post up saying, do you want me to react to this? And only one person said yes. That's good enough for me. I'm more than happy to react to this based on one person saying yay. Because like I always say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. So, son spends $275,000 of dad's money on virtual girlfriend. Right.
In mid-2018, 29-year-old Grant was unemployed, living rent-free in his parents' guest house in the rural village of Chuliota, Florida. He had not once lived on his own, and had recently been kicked out of an anesthesiology school for lack of attendance, and also fired from a job as a nurse for stealing medication. It was a...
Wow, shite. He would have had a lot going for him to be able to go into those kind of professions, but then to throw it all away and living rent-free at anyone's house and being unemployed is pretty bad. But I think when it comes to parents, yes, they're not the same as landlords and everything, but at the same time, they most likely supported him as much as they possibly could throughout this.
Around that time when he decided to experiment with the relatively new realm of online cam sites. These platforms differ from regular porn sites in that they are interactive. Instead of watching a pre-recorded video, users can solicit live performances from models in exchange for money. Using his brother's credit card, he browsed through multiple cam models, spending an average of 20 minutes on each.
This must, if it costs money, I mean, where's he getting it from? How does he get hold of his parents' money? Does he steal their credit cards? Do they not notice? Do they let him have some money? If it were me, if my kid were living at home rent-free, unemployed, I'd say, right, okay, you can live here, but you have to help out around the house. If you want to have, what you need and everything like that. Say no, go out there and get a job.
Yet it was on the 5th of June when forensics discovered he came in contact with a performer who went by the stage name of Sylvie. And over the following 6 months, Grant would spend over $200,000 of his family's money on this one model. The entirety of his father's life savings that he had saved up from working as a pharmacist for over 30 years was gone. He had spent $60,000.
How on earth did he get away with that, stealing that much from his parents without them knowing? Is it a case of it was in a sort of like a trust fund or some bank account they didn't monitor very often and the son somehow managed to gain access to it? How does he think he could get away with this? This is his parents' money. Hard-earned money. And what's he getting out of this? He thinks he's getting love and attention and possibly more and all of this and...
dollars from his brother's credit card, and had also taken a $65,000 loan out on the house. When his family found out, instead of calling the police, Grant was sent to a behavioral rehabilitation facility for online porn addiction.
That is actually a very, supportive family. A lot of people would just say, right, you're out. Make your own way in life. Block everything. Sometimes people can be too soft on those that take advantage of them and let them off. It doesn't matter if you're family. It doesn't give you free reign. It doesn't give you a free pass to go and do what you want and then be forgiven. You've taken all this money from me, but it's all right. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. Nah. No. This reminds me of that Dr. Phil episode with the what's his name? I forget, but he was living the bad and bougie lifestyle, and he was stealing from everybody. They let him off so many times, and Dr. Phil said to him, "You have to press charges. You have to put your foot down. You have to practice tough love in order for them to learn their lessons." And this is a case of someone who is being parasitic.
Or we try to run from shame, the stronger it becomes.
When Grant got back from rehab on January 4th,
Wow, he
his
looks
father
so
presented
thin.
him with a 2-page list of rules he was required to follow if he wanted to continue living at home. One of the
idea.
conditions was that he cease all communication with Sylvia immediately, but it took just 3 weeks for the family to discover that he had broken the contract and
How can you enforce that? How are you going to be absolutely sure that they're not even going to go to a friend's house and do it there? Even if they promise.
re-established contact with the model via Twitter. On January 24th, when Chad Amato got home from work, he reportedly confronted Grant over his disregard, and the two of them got into a heated argument which almost turned into a physical altercation. Grant was then kicked out of the house, and for the first time in his life, he was on his own. Shortly before 9 a.m. the next morning, police received a call from Cody Amato's girlfriend, alerting them that he had failed to show up to work that morning and hadn't responded to multiple phone calls. They arrived at the residence at 9:17 a.m.
That's his
and
brother?
once knocks on the front door went unanswered, they were able to gain access with a knife via the back entrance. Chad, Margaret, and Cody Amato were all found lying dead on the floor with gunshot wounds to the head from a 9mm handgun. Grant became the immediate prime suspect, as a witness statement from Cody's girlfriend advised police of the confrontation that had occurred the night before, as well as the collection of bizarre circumstances that had led to that point. He was traced to a hotel in Orlando.
You're being cooperative, sir.
Wow. If someone is sponging off you to that extent, believe me, they have serious psychological issues, and for your own safety, you should not have them around you. And it's not the first time I've seen where people have annihilated their family for financial gain. This has happened a lot. A lot. So yes.
We appreciate that. Some Seminole County detectives want to talk to you, so we're going to get the handcuffs off of you.
Nothing in your pants, correct?
It's just a normal routine when we encounter someone that we want to make sure you're safe. Now we know you don't have any weapons.
He immediately agreed to accompany them to the police station and sit down for an interview. Reports stated that he wasn't made aware of his family's demise, nor was he advised as to what the purpose of the interview was for. Grant himself didn't once inquire, just reportedly sat silent in the back seat of an unmarked police car, staring.
What does that remind you of? Jodi Arias. I killed Travis. I'm living my best life now. I'm being arrested. Not asking. No. Oh, but I didn't do it.
Out the window for the entire journey to the police station.
Get you another water then.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So you got a water? Do you Coke or anything?
No. I'll hold off on that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm here.
Just to restate, he has not been told, nor given any insinuation as to why he is sitting inside an interrogation room, and has not once inquired himself.
Hey, we
Total
really appreciate you
red
coming up with
flag.
us, and, if any time during this you need to stop and go to the bathroom, want a drink,
Snacks.
then just let me know, and we'll be happy to get you. My name is Danny Anderson, and I'm a deputy Seminole County Sheriff's Office. Is Eva.
The investigator's initial plan is to establish a friendly connection with the suspect,
Yeah.
which can often be a highly effective tactical procedure to elicit a more detailed discourse. Yet on this occasion, something seems to get lost in the endeavor, which you'll just have to see for yourself when the time comes. This is one of the most fascinatingly aggravating interrogations to ever be released into the public domain.
So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way. Okay?
Wow.
And
Aggravating interrogation from which angle? I'm intrigued now.
name.
My full name is Grant Tiernan Amato.
What is there any special nursing degree? What you do, or?
I have like other certifications.
Uh-huh.
With that, like I primarily worked in the hospital for I think 5 or 6 years. Well, I was accused of grand theft of the third degree back in June of 2018. There was no evidence ever presented. All the charges were dropped.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not denying it.
For the last couple weeks, I'd gotten 3 or 4 callbacks,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job.
What time was your interview yesterday?
It was scheduled for 10. I got there at around 9 in the
Okay.
morning.
He killed his family and went for a job interview. I've heard of people who have killed their families and then played the victim or gone off on the run or gone on a date even or met up with friends, or driven to Utah, like Jody did, but gone for a job interview? Ooh.
Probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week.
Get you back to work?
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a crappy world when, you don't have any money, you can't do anything, so.
Financially, how's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I just don't know that much, or she knows a lot more about nursing. The nursing, how does it pay? How does it pay?
I mean, if you work your standard 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So, I mean, it's not bad. I think my best year, I made like $55,000.
55.
Because I rarely worked overtime.
Right.
When I was because I had the whole plan of going to.
He's a high achiever. To be able to get to that level, educational-wise, to be able to go into med school and then become a nurse, you have to be of a certain level of, intelligence, and this guy's intelligent. Loads of them. I don't know what his childhood was like, but if you're thieving and lying and then going on to spend other people's money, especially your parents, and then having an argument when they have a go at you for stealing from them, there shouldn't be any defense to that. You shouldn't be argue with them. You should be contrite and full of shame and apologies. That is not just a red flag. That is a red ship sailing across the Red Sea with red sails.
And what you're going for, what does that pay?
Nurse anesthesia pays, base like about $150 up to $175.
Okay. High school, where'd you go?
I went to Timber Creek.
How were you raised?
High school and the first 2 years of college, I was A, B, C. I was in honors in the major program for UCF. Girlfriends. I had, like, my high school sweetheart girlfriend for about 5 years. And then ever since then, no, like, official girlfriends, no flings or anything like that.
Dates here and there?
Dates occasionally, but, not really. Kind of focused on, like, just getting through the life goals that, I wanted to achieve.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I don't know what it is. I thought you said MMA. I'm like, okay. And then,
I think I've heard of that technique before when they ask you things about, what hobbies you have, and then go, I don't know anything about that. Tell me more. Now, these things sound a bit trivial, but actually they're pretty they're pretty useful, because it will keep them talking about things that they know, things they've done, which might be a countermeasure to something they say later. Like if they lie later, and so they can go back and say, but you said that this is what you like to do, or this is that and the other.
When you start explaining to it,
I guess it's animated. It's like cartoons, I guess you could say, but it's Japanese cartoons. It is in Japanese, and then they subtitle it. Yeah.
Do you speak Japanese?
I was going to say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually just went to, me and my brother and one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school, we went to Japan.
How did you pay? That's a lot of money for to be out of work.
My brother.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I think the only other game that we really played was Fortnite, but then that was starting to get to, like...
That's a big deal right now.
Yeah.
The younger
kids are all over it.
And actually, during the time that I was, that I wasn't working as a nurse, I tried to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
What is that?
Again, what is that?
You have to explain a lot of this to us?
With Twitch, it's, you got your
I think sometimes it's a bit frustrating for police, because I'm pretty sure they know what Twitch is. But they sort of like pretend like, oh, we're so wrapped up with our jobs, we have no idea what any of this is. Surely they've come across this before. Surely they've spoken to many, many other suspects before who do Twitch, or they've looked into people's Twitch streams for investigation purposes. But they like to get it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
And then you have your face cam, and then basically people are just watching you play whatever game you're going to say that you're playing.
Okay.
On virtual reality, it was primarily just Beat Saber, so it's like a rhythm-based game, like Guitar Hero. Apart from that, we really didn't get into too many other games yet, because we were kind of just focused on Beat Saber. But I think we had downloaded a few other where it's just like you're going through like a world and you can interact.
Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. Me and Cody.
Who's older, you or him?
He is. I'm the youngest one. I'm 29. He's 31.
Okay.
My oldest brother Jason is 35 or 36.
Oh, so there's another brother.
Talk about Cody.
Cody. You know, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. A lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close, but yeah, I mean...
Yeah, a lot of people understand the bond of brother, though.
Yeah.
The true bond if you're close with your brother.
And I mean, during like this whole time, I mean like,
his brother is 3 years older than him. He's known him literally all his life, grown up together, done all these things together, and now he's murdered him. Oh my God, that is just so not just another murder, but it's an alien concept to me. It sort of partly reminds me of Sharon Birchwood, I covered about 2-3 years ago. It was murdered by her ex-husband. They were best friends after they divorced, and she hoped to get back with him. And they were very, very close, and he was quite happy for her to die, just so he could get her money, basically.
A few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for
Always
me.
there for you.
Yeah.
Always there to support you.
Always there. Yeah, did everything together, connected at the hip.
Ever any issues really with him?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it had been a very trying time.
Oh,
he would
yeah.
have his moments where he would get extremely upset. Like you know, he never gets violent, I guess you could say. But like at one point he got so upset that he like pushed a cabinet and then it like dented into the wall. Yeah, I mean, at least with me, he's always been like where he's there for me. Like whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm gonna take care of it for you.
Tell me about your mom.
My mom has
It must have been a bizarre sight for the detectives to witness, when a man who had just allegedly shot his mother in the back of the head gave a reminiscent smile when she was brought up in the discussion.
Were you the baby? You were truly the family baby?
for my mom.
What about Chiefs?
Yeah.
This really does remind me as well of Don Steenkamp. You know, his relationship with his mother was the best out of all three of his family members. So his mother got the most mercy. And then it was the father and the daughter, or his sister, he had a real problem with. Because I suppose it's his father's money, and his mother's death was just collateral, and his brother's death was, I don't know whether it was a case of stealing his brother's money as well, but he did mention earlier that he does, or he has taken his brother's money, so... But I don't think his brother would have given the money over willingly, really, knowing his track record.
Okay.
For my mom.
Mom's favorite?
Yeah. You know, countless times my dad would, like, come up to me and he'd make, like, me feel... Like, he'd try and use things and word things to make me feel guilty so that I would, you know, do everything
Make you
that I
feel
can.
guilty? You are fucking guilty. Blaming him for, it's not my fault that I did this because you made me feel guilty for things that I did to you. Yeah. I hope he made you feel guilty, because you should have felt guilty already by what you did, or better still, shouldn't have done what you did.
Like, get a job.
Almost like a motivation.
Right. And he'd tell me time and time again that, you know, you're her favorite. I mean, she would do anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't need to hear that. I mean, that's not what would motivate me. With Mom, I think we yelled at each other a grand total of like 3 or 4 times my whole life. Never any issues. I mean, it was always, like, if there was somebody that I could talk to and, like, Cody wasn't available, I'd always talk to my mom. I'd always let her know what's going on.
I can't help with this. It's sort of making my mind tick over. If there's someone in the family that is always on your side and always sticking up for you, very lenient with you, and there's another member of the family who's really, really hard on you, that's a really strong sort of opposition. Going a bit off this is, I've had a theory for a long time that Michael Jackson's parents, because they were so opposite, is that's what made him narcissistic. His mother gave him loads of praise, and his fans gave him loads of praise. His father, the one person he wanted approval from, never gave him approval and even criticized, berated, and beat him. So he's been put down heavily one side and bigged up the other side, and he could never find that happy medium. And when parents don't present a united front, and if one parent says no, the other one should say, right, it's still no. They can have a quiet discussion afterwards if they didn't agree, but not in front of the child. And they should never have favorites. Parents should never, even if they do have a favorite internally, they should never show it externally, because that's what creates problems between siblings sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything.
Okay. Tell me about Dad.
Dad,
What does he do?
Dad's a pharmacist.
Okay.
He works for CVS. He's been a pharmacist for, I think, 35 years or so. My dad was a very, angry, violent type person.
Overbearing.
He's talking about his dad in the past tense already.
5 hours, and he's hurling the ball as fast as an adult can. And we're like...
So his mum is angelic. So his mum's the angel. His father's the devil. I'm not saying that's how they presented themselves, but that's how he's seeing them. So he is just basically saying his dad's horrible. So this is a way of saying his dad deserved what he got.
7th to 8th grade, trying to catch this stuff.
Belittle you?
He would belittle me when I was younger. The problem, I guess, was that I was always like the jokester, the one that could calm everybody down, make everybody smile. If it was a heated situation, I could say a joke or something and then make everybody kind of move past it. And I was just in the point where it's like, I'm hearing, all this stuff from Dad. I'm seeing how much Cody's helping me. Mom's stressed out with her job. And it's like, I'm not doing anything.
When's the last time your dad put his hands on you?
The last time my dad put his hands on me would be...
So that's a clever thing to say. Has he ever put his hands on you? Or when, or how often did he? So he's saying, well, when was the last time? So, of course, the detectives would know that there wouldn't have been that altercation about his girlfriend. There wouldn't have been another time after that. That's a really clever question.
I'd say kind of the middle of December of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
It's because, with all the money that had been getting spent and...
Just to be clear, the CAM model has not yet been brought up in the discussion. The money being spent, in this context, would simply be his living expenses.
I guess...
The money being spent. Not the money I was spending or my dad's money I was spending. He's distancing himself massively and downplaying it.
Just a mix of everything that I've been saying, just kind of boiling up in him. And the fact that to him, it seemed like I wasn't concerned about it. So, and then plus I wasn't acting like myself with the jovialness and, all that kind of stuff. My father chose to admit me to a depression or an addiction clinic or something like that in Fort Lauderdale called Cornerstone.
He chose to admit you. Yeah, he did choose to, but at the same time, he needed help. And it's as if he's saying, well, this is just another thing my dad's doing.
That was December 22nd.
Okay.
Until I think January 4th.
Did you agree to go?
I didn't, but they said that, this was your only...
Who said?
My dad.
Okay.
And that was in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, yeah.
Did your mom agree with it?
My mom and my brother both agreed, but it was my dad who was like the iron fist, like, this is what's going to happen. He can't...
Why did he say you needed to go? What was his reasoning?
Because with the way that I was acting, he didn't see that I was doing anything for the positive. And a lot of it just came back to money with him. He would allow me to spend money that he had with his credit card or something like that, but it's then whenever I did, it was a huge problem.
Okay, so you had one.
That's because he said no.
And what were you buying with it?
Well, what I was doing is over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's as embarrassing as it is. She's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do
All right.
either of you guys know what that
Nope.
is? It's like a virtual girlfriend, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like that type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay. Where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
Where?
Bulgaria,
Where's that?
over in Europe. It's like
Okay.
outside of Germany.
Okay.
Something like that.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that serious.
So
Okay.
what would you give her money for?
Just for like the time online with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you do that, and when did you meet her?
I met her at the beginning of July. Yeah, at the very beginning of July.
Okay. And still talking to her?
Still, yeah. I mean, more just on like Twitter, like
Okay.
just through direct messaging. Like
How
that.
much do you think you spent on this? Because it seems kind of pricey.
Yeah, probably close to like $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000.
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
I don't believe for a second that his dad let him use the credit cards. I don't believe for a second that his brother let him use his credit cards or use his money. Ugh.
It was going to?
They didn't know that it was going to a cam model.
What did you
I
tell
was
them?
saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, like
Beginning stuff.
like advertising, like putting my name out there and that type of thing. So I guess to like bring it all back with why I was brought to Cornerstone, it was a mix of all of those things. It's like he felt like, you know,
He doesn't want to admit to the porn addiction. Maybe there's a shame element to it, or maybe he's trying to downplay any potential motive, because sex and love are motives, or attraction, or whatever are motives usually in this kind of crime, as well as money, revenge.
They had analyzed it as, this is an isolated event. You've been out of work, you have this PTSD from the whole getting arrested thing, and I mean, the last thing on my record was, I think, a speeding ticket back when I was at UCF. They had signed me up, I think, to be there for 60 days. I was only there until January 4th, so...
Who paid for that?
My brother, Cody.
What was the cost of that, do you know?
$15,000.
So their final diagnosis of you was what?
That I was fine. That...
Didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put it past him to have lied, to have manipulated them into believing that he was okay. Or maybe they saw through it and he just checked himself out, and so they couldn't diagnose him.
But they had all just said that it was just this isolated
Just
event.
situational PTSD from...
Right. When I got back, that's where my dad started to get really kind of overbearing. And I mean, rightfully so. I know what I did. But it's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day, hours a day. He'd come home from work, and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Oh, well, poor you. Your dad talking to you. Your dad trying to help you. Poor you.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, you know, a heated conversation?
It would be Thursday, because one of his rules was that I wasn't allowed to talk to the woman anymore that I had been talking to. But I guess you could say behind the scenes, my mom would let me talk to her through her cell phone using Twitter. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like I like, you know, it felt like...
No, mate, there was no emotional connection. You are money, money, money. This is another person who just deflects, who does not take responsibility. He stole the money. He should be saying, instead of saying my dad would just go at me, talk to me, and there'd be heated arguments, you say, I did these really bad things, and when my dad would come home, we would talk about it, or I did a bad thing. It's saying I'm the one to blame, and if someone's talking to you, having a go at you, and getting angry with you, they have every fucking right if you do that.
Like a relationship, you know, I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it.
So Thursday, you're home all day
Yes.
with your mom. Like she works at home.
Correct, yes.
Your dad's at work. What's his normal work hours?
He works until... I think he had to go in early that day, because he had to start like doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works though from like 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between like 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that day?
He got home at like 5:30. And then he came
Like?
in and he asked me, in a calmer state, I guess you could say, like, basically the leading.
How many times do you have to say the word fucking like? Like. Is it going to be Chris Watts all over again?
Question of, why do you think we're about to have this conversation? I, of course, did what I always did, where I kind of didn't admit to it.
Yeah,
and
because you're a
then
fucking liar.
He came out and he told me that I had been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
Have an argument?
Yeah. He kind of, pulled me up from the couch, and then he was...
This is why deception and lying doesn't work, and it gets found out. And it's not so much about what you did. I mean, it is about what you did, but the fact that you lie about it, the fact that you sneak around and deceive and be duplicitous and manipulative, that is the worst thing. I think I saw on TikTok, somebody got fired from a job at Burger King or McDonald's because they claimed not to be using their phone when they were using their phone. And the manager had proof that the person was using their phone from a camera. And they didn't fire him because he was using his phone. They fired him because he lied. He threw his phone out the window to prove he didn't have his phone on him. And that was captured on camera. So it was the lying, it was the deceit. It was, if this person can lie about something small like that and do something like throwing their phone out of a window to avoid being caught, what else can they lie about?
Yelling at me to pack my shit up and just get out of the house. That he was the one who had to be the hammer, and that, why am I making him have to go through this, and all this other kind of stuff.
Okay.
I had my
You
argument,
did.
and then I'm packing my stuff. I'm, taking it out to the car. It took me like a couple hours to get as much as I could, just kind of out into there. So I left, and then.
What time do you think you left about?
Oh God. 9 or 9:30 or so.
He goes on to state that he met up with his brother soon after on the side of the road.
And what was the conversation?
Conversation was basically that he was brought up to speed, and that he would take care of it.
He was brought up to speed by what?
This is Grant attempting to frame his brother for a double murder-suicide.
Oh.
You will see this quote brought up repeatedly from this point forward.
He was brought up to speed on why I'm out here.
Who brought him up to speed?
Ooh.
My mom.
Oh,
So is
Yeah.
he saying that it was his, not Cody, but the other older brother? Was it James? He said, or saying that Cody killed his parents and then himself, or Cody killed his parents so he killed Cody. Yeah, I've heard the phrase "take care of it" being used before in many places, and also on in films. Take care of it.
Do you think that's why Cody left work?
According to Grant, Cody had left work a few hours early to meet up with him on the side of the road. Cody had indeed left work early, yet it wasn't to meet up with Grant. It was later proven that while Margaret Amato was sitting at the computer sipping on a glass of red wine, Grant shot her in the back of the head. He then lay in wait for his father to return to the house, then shot him twice in the head as he entered the kitchen. Cody then received a text from his father's number, asking him to come home urgently. Forensics believed that he was very likely pleading for his life soon after he entered the front door. He was found by police with a gunshot wound to the face, lying in the fetal position. His credit card was stolen, with a purchase made to a campsite for $600 and estimated 30 minutes later.
I mean, in my mind, I was just thinking, he had been let off work early like three times already this week. So I was just like
10-15 minutes you talk to Cody.
Right.
You have a conversation, and he leaves to go home.
Right.
And you leave to go where?
And then I stay in that general area. Yeah, I was staying in that general area, and then I decided to go
to Publix.
He just referred to the Publix supermarket parking lot. This is where he used the free Wi-Fi to log on to the campsite with his dead brother's credit card.
Which was about what time?
There's no defense. No defense.
Between midnight and 1, I think. Yeah.
And you go to Publix midnight 1, and how long did you stay there till?
I stayed there until 7.
Slept there last night? Talked to anybody?
I messaged the girl that I'd been talking to on Twitter. Yeah.
On Twitter, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Did she respond back to you?
I think once.
The discussion is then brought back to his last meeting with Cody.
And then When you left Cody, what did he say he was going to go do?
Cody said that he will take care of it.
Take care of what?
Just the situation that was at hand with whatever he had been updated with from my mom.
Did he tell you what he was updated?
He had told me the reason why, like, I'd been kicked out.
He had told me the reason why. It's another thing in statement analysis is that they look at things like he had told me. No, it should be he told me. It's almost as if he's saying, hypothetically, he told me. So this is an untruth.
But he really didn't give me that much dialogue, like, about that situation. You know, he was...
No, of course not, because it didn't take place.
He was miffed a little bit because, you know, he had just gotten off work and now he has to go deal with this.
But what was your demeanor? Like, what did Cody see you as? Like, were you...
Like, scared.
Upset?
Yeah, like... I was scared because, I mean, like I said, it's the first time that I had been out of the house.
It's scary, I get it.
We've come and talked.
But it's your fault.
He rode up here voluntarily with us to talk to us.
The detective will now initiate the first confrontation.
Why do you think we're having this conversation?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point because, you know, it's, I mean, I know, like, how the situation was when I left.
You're now about to see the lead interrogator's attempt at getting Grant to confess, in a manner so blatantly obvious that the suspect immediately sees through it.
As a child, we're told the truth always is the best thing to do, correct?
Correct.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
And accidents happen, and things in the heat of the moment, things happen that we wish hadn't happened, but we make, I do it myself sometimes. My kids will make me so aggravated, I'll snap at them and then walk away and say, wow, I wish I would not have done that. That was not very adult of me to snap at my child for something. Yes, they're wrong, but I should be the adult and not snap at them.
Right.
Tell me what you think, because I can tell I've done this for a long, long time, and I read people, the way they act, and the way they talk to me, and the way they answer questions. There's something you want to tell us. I can see it in your eyes.
Big yourself up and say, you have a lot of experience in this field. And then say, basically, you can't manipulate me. Say, I know you've got something you want to tell me. I can see you've got something that you just want to tell me. You're a truth teller. The usual spiel.
I'm just worried about what is all transpiring from this.
I think at this point right now, to be honest with you, Grant, you know what it is. It's in your eyes. Your eyes is the view to your soul, and it's in your eyes. And
we usually know answers before we ask it.
Right.
Me and Eva knew everything before we asked you the questions. Now's the time to come to Jesus, be honest, because you're holding something back. I can see it in your eyes. People don't believe that the police will help you, but we are actually here to help you with issues you may have. I think something happened, and you don't want to tell us, but right now is the time to get it off your chest. And I really wish you would, because it will make you feel better in the end.
I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about the night or, you know, the period of time afterwards.
There's only one opportunity.
The thing is that they haven't said anything about your parents are dead, we found them dead. It's almost as if he's acting dumb. So he's saying, what about that night? So is he thinking that there was a confrontation? He hasn't even asked, is everybody okay? The police officers haven't said, where are your parents now? Where is Cody now? Or, when did you last see them? And what was the last, all of this. And why do you think you're here?
You've done something we shouldn't have done. You fess up there. You caught your hand in a cookie jar.
Detective Dan's approach here is so incredibly outdated and predictable that it actually seems to boost the suspect's confidence. It's the detective, in fact, who gives off a nervous disposition. He'll begin stumbling over his own words while simultaneously mixing up his analogies, which never made a great deal of sense to begin with.
No.
Now, is there anything else that happened at the house that you didn't tell us, that you've left out, or we haven't asked you, that would be of importance? Or during the time that you drove around for those few hours? Did you ever really go back to the house that you haven't told us about?
You'll also notice the female detective interject with something useful every now and then.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she's not the one leading this interrogation. That would be the detective who keeps bringing up Jesus, to a guy who just murdered his family to go jerk off in a parking lot to a Bulgarian cam model.
Yeah.
Things that you don't.
I don't agree with bringing religion into it, because it's also assuming that he's religious or assuming that he's Christian. He may have, he may be Muslim or pagan or Zoroastrian or atheist or whatever.
Honesty will get you all the things I can do for you, to be honest. I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
Right.
but I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what, believe it or not. That's just me, and she'll tell you. It's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say if I can do something that can help you, I'm going to help you, because every one of us make mistakes and do things we shouldn't have done.
Yeah. Huge mistake, shooting somebody.
So what do you think
To be
happened?
honest.
I think that there was something that obviously happened at the house.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened.
I know better. Listen to
Then
me.
why aren't you asking?
I know better. I can help you, Grant, with honesty. I can help you with honesty.
We think something else happened before you left the home that
Mhm.
you're either afraid of or embarrassed to talk about. But we need to know exactly what happened, because like Danny said, we can place you there at certain times. And so we need to know what happened before you left that house, because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved?
Mhm. Good question.
Like what brought us to that home?
No.
Once you start telling me something that's truthful that I know, then we're going to have a conversation of exactly what happened.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any
Well,
emails
I
from
mean,
your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
Well, you need to help yourself by filling in the blanks of what happened that night.
Scared
so
of
we can give you the
consequences.
answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything at all? Did he harm you, hit you,
No.
draw any weapons on you?
No. He didn't do anything like that. I mean, he was just yelling.
This is the time to come to Jesus, to be honest.
Ugh.
Because you know more. I'm looking in your eyes tell me exactly that you are hurting inside. I get it. Brother, I get it. You're hurting.
And this is the
You're
only
scared.
time we can help you.
Because once we get to a certain point, there's nothing I can do. It's in the hands of who has it. Nothing I can do. Honesty is always the best policy. You get caught stealing a car, you admit to it, I get it. How can I get help? What can be done to help me? And let me tell you the rest of my story. You're holding
And if
back.
something happened that you were defending yourself, then we need to know that. If you were protecting yourself because you were in fear.
Is it me, or is that detective on the left getting a little... Every time she speaks, he kind of has a reaction like, ugh. I think he knows that she's doing a better job than he is, or she's asking intelligent questions. And he's either frustrated with himself because he's not doing that, or he's frustrated with her for interjecting.
You can't minimize this. Once, a wise man told me one time, once a bomb goes off, you can't defuse it.
The detective's wise man friend was clearly a specialist in nuclear fusion, yet most people would already comprehend that a bomb can no longer be defused once it has exploded.
You can't. That's already out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the point to say, how do I put Band-Aids on myself to minimize the injuries I have? And we're giving you that opportunity. I want to give you that opportunity. I don't think you're a bad guy at all. I really don't.
The male detective will now for some reason focus on Grant's flaws and the overwhelming embarrassment of the cam girl situation, which is basically the exact opposite of what he should be doing. He seems to get confused about what he's trying to achieve here. He carries a sympathetic tone while essentially roasting the ever-loving shit out of the suspect.
I think you're going through a very stressful and emotional time right now with being out of work and just dealing with all the problems with the arrest. You're probably not used to depending on somebody to pay all your bills. So now you have to do mom and dad or have to give you money. Cody's having to give you money, and there's a significant debt to people. $200,000. I don't know what I'd do. I mean, mortgage, yeah, I get it, or something like that, or a medical bill for my child, yeah, I get it. But talking to some girl, in Bulgaria, you hit it right on the head. You were embarrassed about it, and you have nothing to be embarrassed about. Here it is, man. I want to help you. She want to help you. You gotta come to me with the truth now, because I already know the truth.
There's a reason you didn't go back to the house. There's a reason why you haven't tried to reach out. I mean, it's odd you haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's words that, like, I can't think of to even say. Like, I don't know how to even say the words.
Well, give me a roundabout what you're thinking.
That somebody in my family's dead.
And how does that make you feel if you're thinking that?
I have absolutely no ability to comprehend the words, because, like I said, I've been there for my whole entire life, and even though there's been struggles and everything like that, there hasn't ever been any issues.
But something happened Thursday, unlike anything you've ever experienced in 29 years of your life. Never.
And maybe you felt that was rock bottom for you. You were getting kicked out of the house. Your father gave you an ultimatum. I mean, that's...
The female detective will now carry out what the male detective was probably trying to do a few minutes ago. She will afford him justifications for the crime, making the gravity of admission...
She should be the one in charge of this investigation, this interview.
And, now you have to stop talking to this girl, and now you're being kicked out of the home. I mean, that's... I can understand how you would feel. I mean, that you'd want to lash out, or, if something happened, you'd want to defend yourself.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we need to know what happened.
I mean, I can tell that you guys are, like, leading me into a certain way of what...
The only thing we're leading you to is wanting to get the truth from you. Not trying to make you say something that's not true, that's not accurate.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah.
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
Well, we got called to the house because Cody didn't show up to work. So law enforcement goes over there, and can you tell us what we found?
No, the only thing that I was told was that Cody would take care of it for me. And that's all that I know.
So if anything happened in the home, to bring law enforcement there, what would you think happened?
That there was a shooting.
Between whom?
I don't know. Between Cody and my dad.
And why would you think that?
To protect me, or to help me, or to do something with me.
So you're
if he genuinely thought that he's even if that were genuinely the case, he'd be acting very, very weird. He would have come to police himself if he had that thought. But oh my God, he really is laying it down as like, I have no idea what's happened. Oh, is someone in my family dead? Oh, I think somebody is shot. I think Cody did it. Oh, and I think he did it to protect me. So he seems to be sort of like saying this has happened, but not admitting his part in it.
You did not shoot Cody,
no.
Your father, or your mother?
No. I mean, I don't know, like, what more I can say.
Well, when law enforcement arrived, that's what they found. So you're the only outstanding child.
That look on his face isn't, oh God, my family's dead. It's, I can't blame this on Cody, can I? He's thinking, oh shit. That's what he's thinking. He's, oh shit for me, not oh shit for my family.
With your dad. You're the one that we haven't been able to find for 2 days. Do you understand now why we would be questioning you about this?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't be saying like all like I don't know the way to. I don't know like what to even say.
So if anything happened in the home, you believe it would be Cody and him?
Yes. Because I don't
Stumble.
have, access to anything.
We know that Cody didn't shoot your dad. We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself.
Mm-hmm.
There's something.
And you still haven't asked us the condition of them or anything.
That's because I don't know what the normal proceedings are, but
The normal proceedings are for you to be honest about what happened.
And then we help you understand.
You're stalling for time.
What's going to go on from here on out, of what our responsibilities are.
And we don't believe you're being honest. We feel that you are leaving something out about what happened in that home. And the evidence tells us what happened in the home.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to fill in the blanks.
The suspect's composure was finally starting to slip. This was the perfect moment to draw out the silence to see how he'd respond to the pressure.
Here's my hand for honesty. I am an honest guy. I'm going to be honest. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to be honest to the very last day that I deal with you. And then when this investigation continues, I'll go on to the next person to be honest with them. I can only do so much with honesty. Honesty.
So what are you not telling us?
I'm glad
What
she's in that
happened at
position.
That home that you know? Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother? Is that how you left your family?
No.
Nobody else went into that house.
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family?
Is he going to blame his other brother?
If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now.
The female detective does an excellent job at affording him the option to admit to a lesser infraction, which in this case is self-defense. She provides the option while simultaneously building pressure. It's a textbook maneuver, and she does it very well.
To help you. So tell us what happened, Grant. We're here to listen to you.
Grant, you need the truth. We're here to make this right. You got to tell the truth. It's on the tip of your tongue, my man. I get that.
Did your father go after you and you try to protect yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
Hey, I know. Video surveillance tells me everything that happened this night. I'm telling you. Of people that you'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video. And I know that there's only 4 people was at this house during this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me. You got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. Get over that hoop. The video. If you're sitting there saying no, and video
Get over
shows
the hoop.
something else, guess what? Big problem. Because it will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on, is honesty. Was somebody honest? Didn't fire a gun.
Going on and on about honesty and yeah. It was the same thing with Detective Rachel Blaney with Jodi Arias. Talk, and not letting that person say anything. The detective, the lone detective who interrogated Russell Williams, he did such a good job to go from somebody who was like him, sitting there like, oh, I don't know what's, whatever. No, I didn't do anything wrong, to outright confessing. Partly because he didn't feel the need to break the silence and go on and on about honesty, because in a way this is kind of patronizing, and I think sometimes a way to get someone to open up is to put you're both on a level playing field and not be like, I've done this a long time, I've spoken to so many people and I can help you. It kind of makes you feel like you're in a less position pleading for help. Maybe that's why they don't open up, I don't know. But that, if any lessons can be learned from any interrogation, it is definitely the person who interrogated Russell Williams.
Your emotions, your demeanor, your body language, your eyes tell me everything I need to see about you. You want to tell me in the worst way. You want to get this pain off your chest. Do it.
I mean, there's just nothing else that I can say.
So your dad had told you in the past before that he would kill you?
Oh, good.
Right.
For what
So
reason?
he's focusing purely on the female detective because she's much better.
I basically did anything related to this, again, causing...
I reckon this guy here, he's feeling kind of, oh, for fuck's sake. You know, thinking like, you know, I don't like to use gender stereotypes, but man to man, come on, man, you know, tell me. But she's actually doing a lot better with him. And I think he knows that now when he's resigned to her doing it, leading this. I really hope she got a promotion after this because she's good.
Costing him a lot of money.
And Cody knew about that.
Right.
So when did you learn that your family was dead?
I had been worried since last night
Then why didn't you call?
when I was just in the hotel, but
Why don't you call the police?
I
If
knew
you're worried.
when you guys
The welfare check.
told me. I mean, like, I knew when you guys had told me,
You already knew, though.
but I had...
You already said, you know.
At any point, did you feel like you needed to reach out to Cody?
I think that was a good thing to say. You knew. He's not waffling. He's just, you knew. Yeah, you knew. And end of.
He was okay, or...
I just didn't want to call anywhere. I just didn't want to know.
We understand your father was abusive, and we understand that he was the asshole. And if he threatened you...
He was abusive, he was the arsehole, he may have been abusive, but he was willing to help his son. When a lot of people would have actually pressed charges and disowned their children. So he was willing to help his son. That doesn't excuse abusive behaviour, but that's only if he was abusive. We only have his word for it. So the victims in this are now sadly deceased and they can't tell us their side of things. I don't care what kind of parent they are. I don't care who they are. If he was abusive and if he was being that horrible to his son, I think it was probably a good thing that he, you know, it was a blessing for him to be kicked out so he could finally be free of that terror or whatever it was.
They were going to kill you when you came back. You were probably in fear, were you not? So did your brother come home to try and defend you, and then this gunfight happened, and you got so scared that you left?
This version of events would obviously clear Grant of any wrongdoing. The detective is hoping he takes the bait so that he changes his story, and can then be placed under arrest for lying to police.
No, I mean, I had left when I had said that I had left.
I just don't know where else to go to get you to come around. Things just got so bad and out of hand, like never it's been before in your life. Never been here before in your life, or your family's life.
Yeah, if it was between him and his dad,
He's pissed.
why did his mum get shot?
His future, his retirement, his plans are being upset by you because of the financial cost. But you and me both know, as does she, what happened that night.
I don't have the answer for anything else.
Okay. This is the last time before I'm gonna walk out now, and then I'm done. Then I'm done for good. When I'm done, I'm done.
Oh. Oh God, he sounds like a very angry parent.
I can say.
Do you not feel bad for doing this to your family?
I mean, I've been getting blamed for the last half a year for everything, and I've
Yes.
been trying to move forward into a...
Yes. For the last half a year, being blamed. It's not about blame. It's not like you didn't do it and someone's blaming you. You did it. This gets to me. Absolutely gets to me. And I think I've said before in a previous reaction, is that I knew somebody when I was younger for quite a long time who was just like this. Not killing anyone, but very manipulative, pathological liar. And that's why it gets to me. I mean, it's a natural thing just, to want to defend yourself. I get that. And it's a natural thing to not want the line of fire being directed at you. And if you could defend yourself, I think a lot of people probably would. But at the same time, if you've done something wrong, quite a lot of people would put their hands up and say, it's my fault.
And then every day I'm reminded of all the trouble that I had caused.
Oh,
and
poor
then
thing.
I keep being told the same.
Oh, sorry to stop that. If there is There's actually an episode of Judge Rinder. I'm going to go off and talk about something else, where a young girl, where a woman was stealing money from her mother, and her mother actually lent her money as well, and she was suing her daughter for the money that she stole and also the money that was lent to her mother, and the daughter was saying that it's heartbreaking being at home because of feeling guilty and everything. It's almost like, poor me, I've caused this so much problem, but oh my god, poor me, feel sorry for me. Nah. No.
Saying over and over again, but there's nothing that I can do to change it.
Do you regret doing this?
Yeah, you can. You can pay the money back.
I didn't do that, C21.
Redeem yourself.
Here, you sit in my seat for a minute.
Sit in my feet. Did he actually say feet, or did he actually say seat?
My seat. Get out of here. Sit right here. Come here. Sit right here. Get out of that seat. Sit right there for me.
The suspect still isn't sitting in his seat.
Nope.
Two things that happened here today.
I think, does the detective actually know being my seat, this seat, that seat, the other seat? Maybe they should have swapped.
Two things. You're a guy swimming out in the middle of the ocean, and we're going to give you one of two things based on you. You can have a life preserver to keep from drowning, or you get the boat anchor.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you want? Because we will give you whichever one you ask for. The life preserver.
That's a little bit of a patronising question. I mean, I know that somebody has done something, you want to try and get them to confess, but saying that to them is a bit of a silly question. Of course, I'd want the life preserver, but
I want the life preserver, but I've said everything that I can.
You want it, and I believe you do, but you have not said everything you can say. But there will be a time where you ask for that life preserver. I can't give it to you. I can't. Once I cross a line I gotta step over, can't do it. Won't do it.
Things like that, they talk a lot about help and everything, but what help? Because you can confess in here, but you still have to go to court, you still have to enter a plea, or you can withhold all the information and you still have to go to court and enter a plea. So you don't come out of it the other side. I think probably the best thing to do is say, if you're honest, it means that the whole process is sped up a lot quicker. You gain a lot more respect from people. It makes everybody else's life and your life a lot easier. But then a psychopath wouldn't care about making it easier for other people. I think they like the fact that other people are spending and wasting time on them. You know, he's still in control of the situation. He's still manipulating the situation. And I think he's doing that deliberately. He doesn't want it to be over. He doesn't want to say this, this, and this, and then he just goes into a cell. He likes the attention. And that's what a lot of them do. I think a lot of techniques need to be revisited. I think a lot of psychologists and criminologists and law enforcement and all of this need to think of different ways to get people to confess when they're in this situation, because not all of these techniques work.
I want to talk to her for a minute. Think about the last life preserver I can give you. Think about it. Take a few minutes just to reflect on it.
Yeah, she's a bit annoyed with him too.
Come back to you in a couple of minutes, and then we'll go from there. And what happens is what happens. Fair enough? I'm not keeping you. If you want to stay, well, I'll talk to you till whatever, till you're happy with everything and you're okay. You're not detained. You're not being kept here. Don't want to be here. You don't have to be here.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay. Give me a minute. We'll get you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
What we'll do is we'll get you up somewhere. I'll give you my card, my phone number. If you want to talk to me, you're more than welcome to call me. And
he could skip town though.
Any questions of me before?
But then he doesn't have many resources apart from the stolen resources, and he'd be running forever.
You may have.
Like, what am I allowed to do?
Live your life. Get some pictures of you. We're going to collect your clothing. As soon as that's done, we'll get Jason here to talk to you. All right.
Oh.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you plain out. You are not part of it anyway.
No.
When's the last time you saw everybody?
I left the house between like midnight and like 12:30.
I want to believe you, Grant, but you're the last person that I could put in that house. And I know what happened over the last 6 months. Who else can I blame? How are we going to find out who did this?
I don't know. I don't have the answers.
The shit you did, you could have been in jail. You would have been in jail for years.
I know.
And they covered it up for you.
Yeah.
I'm scared for you, and I'm scared for myself, and I don't feel comfortable with you being around me alone. I'm sorry. I could take you physically, but if you have a knife or know where a gun is, I'm fucked. I need you to be honest with me, man. I need to have closure. I was told that you would not have access to be able to contact this woman. Why do you feel the intent to still contact her?
It was just the whole emotional thing. I mean, that's all that I can say.
So are you saying that you love the woman?
I feel like I did, yeah.
Okay, you feel like you did, so you don't feel that way now?
Well, I mean,
he's good.
It's pretty much.
I know he's grieving
I mean,
and that, but
what it used to be is all I can say.
Because she's aware of what has happened in the last several months.
Right.
It hurt, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't carry that persona that you carried before. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
bless him.
You have anything else you need to talk about before we let you go? Because now's your time. You know that. Like Danny said, once you're out of here, there's no coming back from this. We're giving you every opportunity to tell us what happened in that home that you have not told us. So you're aware that when you leave here, you're not going to have any chance to redeem yourself and tell us the truth after the fact.
I understand.
And you're okay with that. You can live with yourself knowing that you're not going to tell us the truth.
Oh yeah, he can. He can live with himself.
You ready, man? Yeah. Question for you real quick. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt anybody else. No suicidal thoughts. Okay, come on, bud.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yep, nope, that's
Grant
fine.
was arrested 9 hours later at his hotel. His trial began on August 12th, 2019.
Grant Amato was so obsessed with this woman. You're going to see from the evidence in this case, at 2:53 a.m. on January 25th, after leaving the house that contained the 3 dead bodies of his family, the defendant goes to a nearby Publix parking lot, logs onto their Wi-Fi, and uses his dead brother's USA checking account to pay $599.99 to get onto Sylvie's website at 3:02 in the morning. That's what this case is about. It's about his blind obsession with this woman, the end of the world as he believed it to be because of his family, and his absolute contempt for those that he held responsible.
Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
Grant Amato was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good. I am glad. I am absolutely glad that he was. It's just, oh my God. He held them responsible for everything that was wrong with him. Like, he was entitled to what they had. I don't understand that mentality. He's where he needs to be. Definitely. Anyways, Thank you very, very much for watching, my lovely berries and newberries. And I really would appreciate some case suggestions. Please pop them in below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.